going on, people? Welcome to another episode of The Take On here on 5. I am here with Joey and Danny. We're back again for another special. And Anton has got something to tell us as well, so we're going to have to hear from him. But we've got loads to talk about on the show today. But also, before we get into it, whatever we're talking about, okay, whatever the topic is, we want you guys to get involved with your takes. Whatever your takes are, put them in the comment boxes below and let us know. And I'll be reading them out on the next show. It's an interactive show and we want to hear from you guys. But we have to hear from Mr. Anton Ferdinand first. Let's see what he has to say for himself.
Yes, Murph. Yes, Flex. One more week, I'm back. I'm back in the studio. I can't wait to get back around you guys and get into it. However, Gareth Southgate, not for me, man. Not for me. I can't lie. I see the comments that he came out with last night about Harry Maguire being a joke, but let's have it right. He's put him in the firing line, him. He said at the start of his tenure, if players ain't playing for their clubs, they're not going to be selected for England. Harry Maguire's a perfect example. Fair play to Harry Maguire though, because he's coming out and speaking to the press and that, and fair play to him. You've got to admire that. I'll give him that. But the manager is not doing him any favours. It's hard to play football for your country, even when you're playing for your club. But if you're not playing for your club, how can you expect to come in and be at that level? It's nearby impossible. So Southgate's got to take some of the blame. He has to. I can't look any other way. What do you guys think? Also, Foden. The comments about Foden not playing in central midfield. He don't play there for his club. Does he not realise he's got the best, one of the best ever to play in the Premier League, in Kevin De Bruyne, in front of him? Foden is a magician. He can do all sorts. He's that guy. But how will we know if we don't play him there? But guys, let me know what you think, and I'll be back next week to get right in the thick of things. See you later, guys. Have a good one.
So, Anton, with some strong words. Let's start off with the Maguire situation.
Two great chats.
Yeah,
two great points.
Two great points. Danny, where do you stand on this? Where do you stand on the line of the manager backing the player? You're my guy. You're having a rough time. I've got your back. Versus, you're not playing for your club. You're in the firing line. You're under the microscope, and there's so much pressure on you.
Well, first and foremost, I'm all for managers when they feel necessary backing a player and sticking up for him, because there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's great for the player to see his manager back him. The only problem is with that is it brings it more to the forefront for people to talk about, like we're doing now. Now, I don't think Maguire is a bad centre-half. I think he's a very good player, and I think he's fallen below the levels he set himself. Firstly, when he joined United, his England form, he's obviously the last couple of seasons, he's fallen below that level. And when you're Manchester United captain, which is one of the biggest clubs in the world, without doubt, you are under the microscope. But he's not only dropped his form where he's been playing a little bit poorly, he's been playing in a side that's been struggling. Generally, I know they won the League Cup last year, but from United's levels, and conceding goals, a lot of goals. So he's fallen below his form. There's nothing wrong with analysing that and talking about it as commentators, as pundits, as fans even, and saying the reality. I've not ever personally gone after him in any way other than what I've seen. I said maybe last year they should take the armband off him to help him just concentrate on his own game.
That, yeah.
You know, that's constructive. I think Gareth got a bit passionate and a bit misguided in his criticism of commentators and pundits, because I think, and you might not like this, whether you agree or not, we'll wait and see, but this started because of Manchester United's own supporters, not all, booing their own captain, right? Now, I know it didn't happen every week and it wasn't every fan, so let's not put them all on but their own fans started booing their player. Now, if that happens, that's going to be contagious to other fans. Also, I think there has to be an understanding from Gareth that in an age where social media is the way it is and the analysis on football is so intense, more than it's ever been, players are going to get criticised, I'm afraid. And when you're captain of Man United and you're earning $1 million a month, roughly whatever it is, you got to take it on the chin. And it does happen to other players, and it has happened before. I remember Titus Brambles getting a standing ovation when he got brought off the bench from the Liverpool fans because they wanted him on the pitch. I remember John Barnes, one of my heroes, one of the greatest English players you've ever seen, getting booed like I've never heard it for England. because he wasn't playing the same. So it does happen.
What happened to David Beckham? What happened to Rooney? Rooney was having a go at the fans down a lens.
There you go. So it does happen, but he's got a bit carried away in the moment. All in all, I think Gareth could have helped Maguire a little bit more in some of these situations, but not all of them. There's nothing wrong with sticking by your man and having him in the squad, because I don't think he didn't have an abundance of centre-halves who were ready. Now there's more. But bringing him on at half-time in Scotland, it was kind of a recipe for disaster. I'm not saying he didn't play badly, by the way. The own goal I don't blame him for. He didn't
try and clear it.
Yeah, but he didn't give a pass away, so it wasn't. There was no drama. He didn't play badly. There was nothing, no criticism of him. But he knew by putting him in that environment, he was going to face that. So why do that when you've got two other centre halves? So there's pros and cons to this. My overall feeling is I think Harry Maguire could what's the word? Not reinvent himself, but he could recapture that form by going to play in a team where all he has to do is defend and not look like an aesthetically pleasing footballer who has to come out and play and keep the ball and get, the
decided not to go West Ham in terms of the payout and no.
I think that's a bad decision, because if you look at it like this, and this is my final one in it.
Yeah.
If you have him at centre half next to Zuma, if he's at Everton next to Tarkowski, whatever, most weeks he's doing a lot of defending, heading balls away, blocks. He's not having to sit on the ball in a team that's got most possession where you're trying to break through lines and look like a real talented centre half. He's back to basics of defending and being Harry Maguire. And I think all of a sudden you'll see his confidence would grow, which would then help England and also stop Gareth having the problem of having to pick him when he's not playing. I'm amazed he didn't take the jump, but I don't know the details of why.
Yeah.
But I don't give up on him. I think if he can play regularly from January to the end of this, I would still have him in the squad. I'm not necessarily saying he'd be in my 11. I think I'd have Stones and probably Gay for me, or maybe even Dunk. That's what I'd go for. But would he be in my squad if he played regular football and played well? Yeah. But he's got to move from United.
Joey?
I feel sorry for Harry Maguire to an extent, because I do think that the criticism he comes under isn't necessarily fair. I'm not saying that Maguire doesn't make mistakes. Maguire does make mistakes, but also many defenders do. I'm sure Lewis Dunk does. I'm sure Mark Gahey does. The difference is there's not probably thousands of people out there who are waiting for those mistakes so that then they can put a compilation together on YouTube, get their Google AdSense money coming in and whatnot. It's a very popular thing. So once someone's been made in the modern day into like a meme, like Harry Maguire has, there's always going to be the knife's out for him. He's going to be under the telescope, basically. The problem with it is exactly what Danny said there. Why on earth he did not make that move to West Ham? Because I'm an outsider. You're a Man United fan. If I'm Harry Maguire, I haven't really got any love for the fan base at this point, and he would never admit that because you don't want to admit that when you're at that club. But the way that he's been treated by everyone, not just Man United fans, because I'm not actually tarnishing the way they've treated him, but the way the writing's on the wall there. You needed to take the move. That West Ham side are looking really good, and also stylistically, Man United will play a much higher defensive line than West Ham, so I think it would have suited him a lot more. I don't disagree that he should be in the squad. I do genuinely think that he's one of our better defenders. He should be in the squad. For me, I would have Levi Colwill in there ahead of him in that left centre-back position. But, football's about opinions, isn't it? I don't think that he should be out of the squad. And I can also see that Southgate's sort of frustration is coming through there. The problem Southgate has is he shoots himself in the foot a little bit with it, because there's other selections and we all contradict ourselves. I know I do on a daily basis, especially doing YouTube content and podcasts and whatnot, but Gareth Southgate's squad selection is massively contradicted when you think about his inclusion of Harry Maguire and the fact he gives him game time every single time.
Yeah, I think Gareth Southgate's part of the issue. Just one part of the issue. There's a lot of parts to this, but he's part of it, because if you take that game last night at Hampden Park, to me, it looked like Gareth Southgate wanted to double down, triple down that Harry Maguire is his guy. We know he's your guy. We know that you're going to bring him to the Euros. Yeah. It's a friendly at Hampden Park when he's just played against Ukraine, and there was already an inquest of did he run into Mark Gahey? He could have done a little bit better on that goal. It's a friendly at Hampden Park, hostile atmosphere. Man United, England are 2-0 up, right? And you've got Lewis Dunk there. Levi Colwill's on the bench. He played with him at Brighton.
Was Tomori on the bench?
I think he was. But Levi Colwill definitely was.
Yeah.
Have a look at him.
At Brighton,
Have a look at him. But in my opinion, I think Gareth Southgate's gone, no, I'm going to keep showing at every given opportunity, because he's having a rough time. that you are my guy. And I don't think he had to do that.
Do you just playing devil's advocate with that quickly? Do you not think maybe it was because, and he shouldn't be in this position, by the way. He's saying, I need to give him as much game time as I can.
Well, and if he does need to do that, then more for Gareth Southgate for like what Anton said about needing to get games at your club to be able to play for me. It's not the international manager's job to give you minutes. That's insane. This is international football. You don't come here to get your fitness up. You come here because you're good enough to play, and you've been putting it in the hard yards and the mileage and the performances as well. You've been putting in performances at club level, and that's what makes you eligible for selection for me as an international player. Not just because your fitness is a bit down. Come in here, let me get your fitness up.
But I'll get stick for this because the Liverpool connection and digging out United fans. And as I said, it wasn't all of them, but you're a United man, right?
Yeah, I was going to talk about that actually.
Do you feel they've contributed to it, as in the start of it? Because booing your own. Do you remember a time where United did this to another player?
So the first boo in which I condemned straight away that I've seen live in a stadium of actual boos, right, was at the Aviva Stadium in a pre-season friendly.
I mean, which is
right,
virgin or ridiculous.
That shouldn't have happened. At Old Trafford, and this is where I think there is a bit of a misconception. At Old Trafford, match-going fans don't boo Harry Maguire.
Fair enough.
Boo, get off the pitch, get him off. That doesn't happen. When you cross the white line,
so it hasn't happened at Old Trafford.
It doesn't happen at Old Trafford. Don't get me wrong. There are like some, you can feel a little energy. Just a little wincing, couple of gasps, because he might have to come on the last 5 minutes or when he was playing through some times. But that hasn't come because Man United fans want to hound him out of the club and be horrible to Harry Maguire. That's come because Manchester United fans can see he's not up to the level. It's as simple as that. And that is a signal that Eric Ten Hag has seen as well. Let's not act like this isn't purely football for this reason. Now,
it is unusual.
It is unusual.
I think, because I don't remember... Many fans actually, but I certainly don't remember going to United. Well, probably because they were so bloody good when I used to go there. But I don't remember hearing United fans the murmurings towards the player.
Do you know what the biggest problem for Harry Maguire was? I think he was elevated to a level of high status at Manchester United very, very early by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Because of the armband as well.
As soon as he got the armband, you know what the armband means at Manchester United, right? I don't need to name all the big captains that have gone before Harry Maguire, right? And it's almost disrespectful to mention them names alongside. But in terms of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer putting him on that platform, we're all looking to you now. Yes, we bought you for a lot of money. Moves can go bad, but you are the captain. There's been times along the way where Harry Maguire hasn't covered himself in glory. I quote, I don't have to prove myself. All the managers before this picked me. Don't say that. Roy Keane used to say that you always got to prove yourself in training.
But is that
Ronaldo
not?
Say you always got to prove yourself in training. Like some of the I think we lost like 6-1. I think in COVID season to Spurs, right? And Martial got sent off, and he pulled down Luke Shaw. It was really calamitous defending. Comes out in the interview. Forwards got to take the chances. Like you're not helping the situation.
I get that.
And I get it's a motive, but he has done things in the past that.
But generally, I have to give him some kudos here, because I think other players going through what he's been through would have come out and done some random interviews and really started blaming other.
Piers Morgan, mate.
He has showed some bloody damn really good resilience.
I agree with that.
To crack on, playing for England, still contributing, doing well.
Yep.
At the World Cup, and then you've got the times he comes on for United, he gets on it, he sits on the bench, you don't hear him. Well, I very rarely hear him whinging and moaning about his predicament. No,
it's not as full on as maybe you like something. He hasn't done a Jadon Sancho type statement. He ain't done that. I'm not accusing him of that. And it has gone too far. Look, at one point, Harry Maguire had a bomb threat to his house.
You're joking.
Absolutely. No, I'm not. And that, condemn that 100%. I don't agree. And, calling him names and mocking his appearance and all of that crap, all of that to me is nonsense. Let's keep it football. If we keep it football, like Eric Ten Hag has done, Man United want to play a certain way.
Yeah, he's not.
It doesn't suit Harry Maguire. And he ain't as bad as everyone says. He just needs to leave Man United.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So it's annoying. I think that Southgate doesn't help the situation. I think in trying to help and protect him, I think he's doing a bit too much, personally.
I think eventually, look, if he goes in January and gets playing, he'll do Southgate a favour, because he won't have to justify his selection then.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the crux of it.
Let's talk a little bit about the rest of England. How they're shaping up going into this Euros. We obviously have played a couple of games. one against Ukraine, one against Scotland. Joey, in terms of the team makeup, Jude Bellingham. You hear it?
He's ridiculous,
Jude
isn't he?
Bellingham, what a player we've got on our hands for England.
He's a game changer. And in my lifetime, I was saying this before, in my lifetime, I don't think there's been a player who is as much of a game changer going into a tournament that I've been conscious of. So I was born in 94. The first one I really, really remember remember the build-up, remember sort of buying into was probably 2002 World Cup. Obviously, we had Owen in that season. He was obviously a phenomenal talent at a young age, but that season going into that World Cup, he wasn't actually coming off the back of his best season. I think he only had 25 starts in the league or something like that. Good goal return on it. Obviously, Euro 2004, Wayne Rooney, and he was phenomenal. That was his best tournament for England. He never had a tournament as good as Euro 2004. But I don't think when you look at that, Owen coming off the back of an injury, Wayne Rooney at Euro 2004 coming off a season where I think he only had 10 starts for Everton, and Everton finished 1 point above the relegation zone that season. Jude Bellingham's going to be coming in off the back of a season for Real Madrid, playing at the top level, probably one of the favourites, definitely for the Champions League. They'll probably win La Liga as well, and he's going to be coming in off the back of being one of, if not their most important player. And you look at him last night, it's ridiculous.
Do you know what? He's not
assist towards the end.
He's not just physically amazing, he's technically brilliant. But you know what? When people watch, and if kids or anyone out there is looking at Bellingham and replaying his skill, his goals, his assists, what they should be really looking at, which you probably won't get on a YouTube video, is his running off the ball. His running off the ball to create space is off the charts good. And also his running off the ball recovery runs to get back in, to tackle people, to do his defensive work. But his running off the ball offensively is as good as I've ever seen.
Well, his goal last night, everyone would say, it's a mistake by Robertson, it just fell straight to him. I do understand that, but also exactly what you're saying there, the position he got himself into.
After being on the left wing.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of midfielders aren't ending up in that exact position, so that if there is a mistake, he's there right. But
also,
what
we're looking at with Jude Bellingham, right, is that he can do it all. Yeah. Because where he's actually playing now for Real Madrid, and I saw it in pre-season, they've carried it on into the league, I've seen, is he's playing in a 10. Right? He's playing behind Rodrigo and Joselu, because Vinicius Jr. is injured, but it was them two. And then you've got Jude Bellingham just behind that. Obviously, you've got the midfield three behind that of like Modric, Tchouameni, Camavinga, whoever it is. Yeah. And he's showing, I can do the 10.
Well, you know what?
I can get back, get stuck in, no problem. I can be physical. I can pass. I can tackle. I can assist. I can. What do you want? What do you want me to do? What do you want? You want a bit of everything?
Well, Anton was bringing up the Foden chat in midfield, and this is all linked.
Yes.
Just before we go into that, actually, I remember Stevie coming on the scene as a young midfielder, as more of a holding midfielder.
Yeah.
And he ended up. He had a couple of seasons playing as a 10 behind Torres. He had an 8, played as an 8, and I think Bellingham's a bit like Stevie in that, although Jude Bellingham is further ahead than Stevie was at 20, that's no doubt about that. I think Bellingham is so good that whichever position you played him in, you could say it's his best. Now, moving that forward, my view is that England moving forward is a very simple equation on what's going to change or not. I think we're going to play back 4. I think we're going to generally play 3-3, as in 4-3-3. It's just how that middle 3 looks. Is it going to be Rice plus 2 8s, as in 2 midfielders ahead of him, Bellingham being one, obviously, and it was Henderson against Ukraine as the other. Henderson didn't play alongside Rice, played a little bit ahead, like the France game in the quarterfinals. Or is it going to be 2 sitters, so Rice and Phillips, or Rice and Henderson, or Rice and whoever, and Bellingham as a 10? Anton's talking about Foden, and I agree with him here. What he's saying is, of course he can play as an 8 with Bellingham and Rice behind. Now, against most opposition, because we dominate possession, I think that's true. My thing is that I think we can do it against the best opposition we're going to come up against, France, Spain, Belgium, Germany, whatever, because those 5, so you'd have Kane, let's say Rashford, Saka, Foden, Bellingham, those 5 are so difficult to deal with that you're going to have the other team dropping off. So you're not going to be overloaded with Rice and the back players struggling. And I think we've got centre-halves who can cope now. So I'm not sure he's going to do it.
But Gareth Southgate, he ain't doing that.
I know. But I'm actually with Anton, going back to the point, and this is where we want the takes of the listeners or the watchers, the viewers. do we think that's the way to go and win a trophy, or is he going to? Is it to stick with what he's been doing and think that's enough? We will get over the line this time. You don't have to be a midfielder to play as an 8, because what people forget, and this is going back to Bellingham, is that if Rice needs someone to go and sit alongside him for 10 minutes and rat and get into people, you'd have Bellingham ahead of anyone else anyway.
Exactly.
Because he's an absolute physical... he's strong as an ox.
He can do it all.
He's quick. You could say to him, Jude, sit in with Declan for 10 minutes. We're getting a bit over.
Chouameni's getting a bit lively.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. So I'm actually with Alan on this one. And you could throw Maddison into that role as well. So you could play I think you could play Rice holding against anyone with Bellingham ahead, just a little bit ahead of him as an 8. Yeah. And on the other side, Maddison or Foden. That way you get a lot of Dutch coaches, right? I don't know if you've heard this before. You probably have. Not just Dutch coaches, but where I first heard it, where they talk about a 5 and 5, a 6 and 4, or a 7 and 3, right? So
your attackers,
So your 5 is 5 defensive players, 5 attack players, 6 and 4. 5 and 5 is probably the most courageous formation to play. But when you look at our squad, we've got that many amazing forward players. What you might, if you're gonna, it's like if he doesn't win it, it's going to be his last tournament, Gareth.
Absolutely.
Go out on your shield.
Yeah, go for it. But Joey, we're sort of wincing at it there. What Danny's saying, I agree. Yeah, go for it. Can you see Gareth Southgate going, Henderson, Phillips? That security blanket. No. We'll just go for it.
No, I can't see that happening. I'd love to imagine we do. When we've ever come up against more stern opposition that we think that we could possibly be underdogs, we've seen him go to a 3 at the back, and obviously when I say 3, I mean a 5. I mean 5 defensive players there.
But he didn't do that against France. He had a back 4.
No, he did go for it against France, to be fair.
No. No, he went back 4, but he played
There's Rice, Bellingham.
Henderson, Rice, and Bellingham. So it's a back 4 still. But what I'm talking about is the dynamic of the 3 changes, so you only have 1 defensive. Yeah. But he didn't. Yeah, he has done it in the Euros. He changed to 3. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
But the World Cup, he didn't.
I just don't think that we'll see a 4 and that we'd see just Rice sitting there. And like you said, every now and again, Bellingham or someone like Calvin Phillips, maybe deputising and coming in. I think that we'll see something a little bit more defensive. But what I would say is I wouldn't necessarily say that's going to be the worst thing in the world, because as much as all of us as supporters of the national team want to see us do it one way, I do think that one of the best things is having the stability and also having the strength, which actually Gareth Southgate has shown. Even if none of us agree with his selection of Maguire and the things that he's done with his squad selection, his game management, he does sort of stand by what he does, and he doesn't change all that much. And I actually think that if you can take away the outrage of the fans and whatever, that can also turn its way into a positive, because I think having that stability and strength of mind to say, look, this is the way I'm going to play, and this is how it is, at least everyone's then singing off the same script. Yeah. Everyone there knows exactly what they're doing. And I think in tournament football, where you haven't got a 38-game season to get things right and to tinker with things too much, actually having that straight away game plan there, this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it, it could be more beneficial for the players to do that. So I wouldn't necessarily go as far to say that if he does go a little bit more defensive, it's the wrong thing to do. But obviously all of us look at our creative flair, our attacking players that we've got in abundance, and we want to see that come to fruition. But I'll tell you one thing, if we scrape a tournament with 1-0 wins and 0-0's penalty shootout wins, I really don't care how we do it, as long as we win something.
If Gareth Southgate won the Euros, should he leave on that high? Or does that mean, mate, we ain't won anything since 66. He won. You've proved you can do it.
Oh, no, he'd stay.
He'd stay. And I'll tell you one thing as well, just quickly. I was saying this to Joel before. Even if he doesn't win, everyone's talking. I was sort of reading what we were going to talk about. Everyone's talking as if like this is definitely his last tournament. I would not be so sure.
What, you think he's going to stay after this?
I promise you, even if we went out with a spirited performance in the final, semi-final, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if Southgate still...
If Gareth stays another tournament, he's going to end up as grey as the hairs in his beard.
At least he can blow a beard.
But if he wins, right, let's just have it out right here, right now.
Yeah.
If Gareth Southgate wins the Euros,
he'll get a night.
He should. What should he
do? Stop. Go and get a club
Go out
top.
On that shield.
Yeah.
Get a trophy.
You're not on your shield, are you?
Get a statue.
Back to Borough.
First thing we won since.
Do you know what? I think it's just worth.
Well,
I do think it's worth saying because it sounds a little bit negative. This conversation. Gareth's done so many good things. Him and Steve Holland for this England squad. The togetherness, players want to play. You know, the fact that he's actually had the balls to give Bellingham the platform to play so young when many wouldn't have. Threw him in the World Cup. Some would have protected him. We've seen that before.
Look at Saka now.
Saka, he put in from nowhere. By the way, in
Connected
the Euros,
the fans.
he binned Foden. You know, Southgate's made that he changed to a 3 in that Germany game in the Euros where nobody thought he would, shouldn't we, and it worked. Now, the good only becomes great and remembered forever if they win something.
Yeah.
So it's going to be little details because we are a hell of a good side, however we play.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it. But I would love to see them just go there. You know what? I'm putting them all on there. There's the 5.
Let's move it on to who deserves England Men's Player of the Year.
Saka won it, didn't he?
Yeah. Did he deserve to?
Well, if
Harry Kane.
If it's done on a vote, isn't it?
Who would you have had though? I know about.
Yeah, I'd have had him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think what he's done in a short space of time and how he's electric to watch. He's dynamic. He's been scoring goals. I know Kane's the obvious choice because he just keeps banging goals in. But yeah, I think sometimes I'm pleased for him because it'll do him so much more good than it would if Kane won it in terms of confidence. And I don't know if you saw you would have seen it because you boys are on YouTube all the time, but I saw the clip of where he got Madison gave it, presented it to him. It was nice, man, wasn't it?
I think Saka's he's just the people's champ, man.
Yeah.
Nobody.
How can you not love him?
If anybody says a bad word about Saka, even if he ain't your player, even if you're a Tottenham fan, I don't care. You better step in and say, leave Saka alone.
Here's a quick question for you.
Yeah.
And I know we might switch up, but I really, before I forget.
Go on.
Man U,
yeah,
somehow, and I know it's unrealistic, but bear with me, I've got the choice to take Saka or Foden. Who'd you take?
Oh, I think Foden's so disrespected, man. I'm having this right now because people who watch this will know I've been going back and forth with a few fans who try and tell me that Madison's better than Foden.
Don't worry about who else is in your team and where do you fit in. Which one do you take to go United?
Foden, generational talent.
Yeah. What about you, Chelsea? Which one?
Saka.
Really?
Yeah, only because of not saying he's better than Foden or whatever, but Saka because of what I'd want to see from a Chelsea team. But I'll tell you one thing as well. When we were just speaking about that, the love that everyone's got for Saka, that again comes into what we were saying about Gareth Southgate, connecting this team to the fans. Because look, Steven Gerrard, brilliant player. Of course I wanted him to do well in 2012 and 2010 and whatnot. But I didn't have a love for him. You know, he played for the national team. And of course, I really wanted him to achieve as I did the whole team. But that's one thing is like Saka, you know, Foden, Rice, all these players, whether they play for my club or not,
man.
I do have a lot of love for them. And this is the first team in my lifetime that I've really thought like, I've got a real connection to.
You look at Jude as a person as well.
Amazing.
But I the players.
The great thing what Gareth's done, probably the best thing for me, is that risk he's taken with the younger players because he knew them.
Yeah.
And that is the advantage of continuation of 21s to first team and stuff.
Yeah.
And it'd be interesting, actually. I mean, we'll probably do it on another day. I'm not sure. But, you know, there will come a time, especially if we don't win this tournament, where they're going to have to make a decision on who to bring in next.
Yeah. As you guys saw on 5, Harry Pinero spent some time with Paul Scholes for this and that. And a new series called Beyond the 90 as well. His idol's Scholes, so it was a great watch because he's got to meet his idol, Harry Pinero did. But Scholes, he had a lot of stuff to talk about. He had a lot of stuff to talk about.
I heard it.
Yeah, I bet your ears pricked up when he said some of these things.
I love Scholes.
Paul Scholes on Steven Gerrard. Gerrard is a great player. We are different, very different. He's an athlete. I think he's more inclined to win games, but he has been playing on a team where he probably had to. I was more part of a team. I wouldn't be able to do what he did at Liverpool. I don't know if he would have done it at United. I don't see why he wouldn't, but I couldn't have done what he did at Liverpool. Is that Paul Scholes being humble, or he's just correct?
Both. I think, look, Scholes, if you knew him, he's so honest straight down the line, such a proper nice lad. And I got to meet the best of it or get to know more at the England thing than the Liverpool United games, obviously. Yeah. And he's just so straight and normal. He's just a generous, warm guy. I don't think he has ulterior motives or anything that comes out of his mouth. He's just a simple, honest guy. Yeah. And I always said to people, if you ever ask Scholesy, about Stevie, you probably get the honest, because that's the way he is.
That's exactly what you said that time as well.
Yeah, and what he said makes perfect sense. It doesn't belittle what Scholes' talent was. You know, I've played against them both, played with both. They're both geniuses in different ways. But in a one-off game, if you put them up against each other, who would I rather have on my team? I'd have Stevie all day, every day, because of what the things Scholes said. He can drag a game from another team. He can somehow single-handedly, which not many players can do this, by the way, very few, and physically grab the game in terms of his power and his pace and his tenacity, but score screamers and get on the end of things. And it's a pass that
And
no
provide,
one else. Yeah. Now, Scholes was a type of player, he's a nightmare to play against because he's so intelligent and he'd see... I thought I could see pictures. He could see pictures about 6 weeks ahead instead of 6 seconds, you know? And you couldn't stop him in terms of, you know, dictating the game because you get too close to him, tight, you just play little ones around you and someone else is killing you in behind you. And if you sit off him, he's spraying and he's dictating play. So I loved them both, but it was really refreshing to hear Scholes just say what most people know. It doesn't mean Scholes wasn't a genius.
No, because he was. Absolutely
But Stevie had different qualities and he was a more all-round midfielder than Scholes.
How do you see that?
Yeah, more or less exactly the same. I think Scholes was the player that would give other players the opportunities to be the match winner. Gerrard was the match winner, you know. If Scholes was in that Liverpool team, okay, different story, but Scholes never played in a bad side. He played in sides that might not have won the title at times, but he never played in a bad side. Gerrard did play in bad Liverpool teams. There are certain Liverpool teams that Gerrard...
when Danny was there.
No. I'm not saying they were bad teams. I'm saying throughout the course of 15 odd years in that first 11, there were certain sides that Gerrard played for that were finishing sixth.
To be
seventh.
fair, we only won 6 trophies, but yeah, I know you're saying.
No, but there were times. I'm thinking of Aquilani. I'm thinking of certain times in between maybe the Champions League win and when the emergence of Suarez and that came in. There were certain times when that Liverpool side weren't the best and Gerrard was still a standout there, but they were different players. One thing I would say about Scholes is it's always said that he's massively, massively underrated. And you hear of other players saying just how good he was. You know, there's comments from Xavi and Iniesta on Paul Scholes. But Lampard's underrated as well because everyone always makes out that everyone always makes out Lampard was just a goal machine. Lampard was just a goal scorer. Yes, of course, that's the standout attribute that's going to come to mind. But it's funny how people won't even mention Lampard in that as well.
That's the three. It's Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard.
Yeah, Lampard.
That is it.
Lampard's the greatest goal scoring midfielder we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Bar none.
But you were saying the other day, I can't remember what show it was. You going, listen, more than that. He'll kick you. He's strong. Remember you saying that?
Lamps was the one thing he doesn't get his credit for was his defensive responsibility. You know, honestly, talk about discipline. For someone who scored so many goals, he wasn't a passenger with his defending work. He would get back, he'd harass you, and strong on the ball, by the way. You know this myth that he just comes in on crosses or edge of the box and
falling over sideways.
He would go and get the ball, Lampard. And if you pressed him, gone. No, like arms up, strength, protect the ball. He could play. Yeah. He's remembered so much for his goals that his other parts of his game are disrespected. Yeah, Lampard was an unbelievable footballer, and I think you know what? Sometimes people remember different players because of the aesthetics of them rather than what they actually give you and achieve. You know, like when I say aesthetics, some players look more dynamic, some players look more graceful or elegant. And, you know, it's a great example of this would be when the year Tottenham got rid of Darren Bent. That year, I think they had Robbie Keane, Defoe, Berbatov, Darren Bent. Who scored the most goals? Bent. Who was the one taller Tottenham fans said, no, we're happy. He's the one we're happy to see go. Him. Because he doesn't look as good as Berbatov.
That's right.
And because he's an Arsenal fan.
Well, they did, but apparently they didn't know that.
They didn't know that then.
Do you understand my example, though?
Yeah.
He was Pavlyuchenko was getting in ahead of him, I think, at the time.
The point being is that sometimes people look back and they think, because Scholes looked so skillful and technical, and he had this way, you know. It's
the look.
It's the look. Stevie had this dynamism. Lamps kind of went under the radar a bit. But actually, no doubt.
And when you say about those falling over tap-ins, that's all well and good if he scored one or two of them. I could show you nearly 100 goals he scored like that.
And do you know who had
a fluke? It's a clinic on how to play that
Who had the best left foot out of three of them?
Out of three of who? Out of Lampard, Gerrard's goals? Lampard?
Yeah.
Easy.
How many goals he got with his left foot? Unbelievable.
Paul Scholes, I don't even think he ever used his left
No.
foot. Literally.
Stevie didn't
Honestly.
need to. Stevie didn't like his left foot.
Same with Wayne Rooney. Didn't even, not really on the left foot. That brings us into, actually, because there was some more on Scholesy, what he did say about Rooney and Owen at 18, but I might go back to that. But because we were talking, you brought Lampard into it. It does seamlessly go into the next part of the show, which we want you guys to get involved. Actually, this is probably the most interactive part of the show you can get involved in. So for this, I need you guys, this is your assignment. Get involved in this start, bench, dropped England edition, because this is uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of difficult decisions here. Right. Paul Scholes, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard. Start, bench, drop.
Good God. So does starting mean he's your favourite? And
Starting means when we're going to the tournament, Danny, who is in your starting 11 at the Euros or World Cup?
I'd start Stevie,
Right.
and then can I have them both on the bench?
Danny, it's called start, bench, drop. It's not called start, bench.
I'll go Stevie, Lamps, Scholes.
I just can't stand you. I knew you was going to do that.
I love Scholesy, but you said in a tournament, I need match winners. You're not asking who's going to dictate play for 38 games, are you?
Paul Scholes. What, when the going's tough, you want someone to put your foot on it and say, here, we're going to play at this tempo.
You just said we're going. You just said.
Tell you what tempo we're going to play
You just said we're going to a tournament. Who's more likely to get your goal to win the tournament?
Not Scholes from left mid.
Wow, some aggression in the room. I'm getting hot.
Who are you going to go for?
You know I'm
I know
going for.
you're going to go for. Go on, let's hear it.
I'd obviously start Frank Lampard, and that has nothing to do with me being a Chelsea fan. I would start Frank Lampard. I honestly would start Frank Lampard.
Gerrard?
If you go on international tournaments that both of them played in, Lampard's numbers are a lot better when it comes to goals and assists. I'd start Lampard. I would bench Steven Gerrard, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to drop Paul Scholes.
Look at what they're doing to Paul. Sir
Just
Paul
answer your
Scholes,
question.
mate. Yeah? Well, how about this? Paul
We've
Scholes,
done it.
yeah, we've done it. Yeah, that's cute of Paul Scholes. He's being humble. He's hardly ever spoke when he played. So he's just getting it all out now. He's a humble guy. He wants to look good. He knows he's better than all of them. Paul Scholes start.
All right.
Bench Gerrard.
Drop
Lampard.
Yeah.
This one's uncomfortable. Wayne Rooney, Alan Shearer, Harry Kane.
Oh, wow.
Wayne Rooney, Alan Shearer, Harry Kane. Joey, you're first.
Quite easy for me, really. I'm starting Wayne Rooney, benching Alan Shearer, dropping Harry Kane. But I love Harry Kane, but he's not going to be a match winner like either of the other two.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm having Harry Kane.
So you're dropping
Alan
Shearer? Really?
Yeah.
You leaving Shearer out completely?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Harry Kane, yeah. Goal machine, mate. Yeah. I'm having that.
You don't... all right, yeah.
I'm having Wayne Rooney.
I got to let you have your opinion.
I'm having that. This one.
You're used to haven't seen enough of Shearer then.
He's wicked.
Saka. He's tough as well. You know, he's not going to dive, isn't he? And roll about and stuff.
That's all right, mate. That's all right, mate. I've got Wayne Rooney. We talk about hustling, but I've got Wayne Rooney starting, mate. So I need something different coming off the bench.
All right, fair enough.
I don't want two Wayne Rooneys come out. Shearer, yeah, that's like a poor man's Rooney, isn't it?
To be honest, it's a bit... We are...
Drop is a crazy word.
Drop is a
That's the
silly word.
first time I've ever
It's
heard
really
anyone call
different.
Shearer a poor man's Rooney.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'm going to show him that.
Big up Alan. I love Sir Alan, but listen, man. Like,
Shearer's
if
the man.
I've got two of the same, Harry Kane's going to give me
If
something a bit
anything,
different.
you might say Kane was a poor man's Shearer.
Do you know what this is?
That's a close
This is
one.
a bit like Lopez and Mendes. This.
Yeah, it's toxic,
Getting harder
isn't it?
by the... It's getting harder
Yeah,
by
because
the...
this one's not any easier. Saka, Foden, Rashford.
Oh.
England edition. It's not clubs, it's
Yeah.
England edition.
Well, it's an easy start for Rashford.
Is it?
Goals. Goals.
I
Rashford start. I'm gonna have Foden on the bench.
No Saka in your team. Look what he done at the World Cup.
No, I love him.
He's announced himself.
We just had a conversation how wonderful all these
Well, you
players
wouldn't even
are.
have him in your team.
But But if I said Foden, you'd have a go at me for that. You just said you'd rather have Foden at Man United than Saka.
I did. Mate, you ain't asked me. This is your answer.
All right.
I haven't left him out.
All right, I'm going Rashford start.
Yeah.
I'm going Foden on the bench, and I'll drop Saka. Doesn't mean I don't love him.
What are you saying,
I've
Joe?
got love for all.
Rashford start.
Yeah.
Saka on the bench, drop Foden.
Well, you can't go back on what you said before.
No, because you know what's annoying me about this?
Just answer the question.
This has come at a wrong time for me because I've been arguing with people about Phil Foden because they keep disrespecting him. I don't like it. People try and tell me that Maddison's better than Foden, and not a chance.
But you're dropping him.
But Foden in this England conversation. Foden, but this ain't between Maddison and Foden, so my point still stands. I'm going Rashford. Yeah, I'm going the same.
Yep.
Well, you've left Saka out completely.
No, Saka's going second. Oh, that's not the same, is it?
No.
Yeah, I've left Foden out.
You just said you'd rather have him at United.
Yeah, I know.
Than Saka.
This is England. You asked me about United, you didn't ask me about England.
But you're asking for people's opinions here.
You asked me about club football. You asked me about club football, you asked me about international.
All right, fair enough.
That's what the question was.
I'm hearing mad contradictions.
What? You asked me about club and international, two different things.
All right, so you would
Clearly,
rather
look at Harry Maguire and tell you it's two different things.
You would rather have Foden at your club than Saka.
Yeah.
But if you manage England, you'd play Saka at Foden. How logical is that?
Because I've got different players.
I thought you knew your stuff.
I've got different players.
All right.
Look at my England team. I've got Bellingham. I've got Rice behind.
Crack on.
Yeah. Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Mason Mount.
Bellingham.
I think that's the order, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a... They're not all... Bellingham start. Rice on the bench, Mount out.
Same.
Jack Grealish, James Maddison, Jarrod Bowen. It's a bit of a weird one as well.
Yeah, Maddison starts.
The order again for me.
Maddison starts over Grealish.
You're more end product.
Okay.
If in a tournament, Maddison start, Grealish on the bench, no Bowen.
Maybe Maddison hasn't had the opportunity to do so, but I would say I've seen more, obviously, from Jack Grealish on the international stage. Think about that Germany game. That was like the first time I'd seen us in a major tournament go and beat a real big boy, regardless of what people think about Germany at the time. So I would personally go that exact order. I'd go Grealish starting, Maddison on the bench, and Jarrod Bowen left at home.
Do you rate Jack Grealish?
Yeah.
Highly?
Yeah.
Is he overhyped or is he?
No, I think he's come on so much. I really like him. He's just got to maintain it now. He's a super player. He's just not, his end product's not quite what Maddison's is in a tournament.
Trent, Reece, Walker, Trippier.
This is the hardest one.
Is it?
Yeah. Start, bench, drop, or loan. We've got here.
Yeah, that one's. I think, that is that actually. Yeah.
Well, tournament. If you're talking about, I'd have to start Kyle.
Loan him to Ireland.
Loan to Scotland.
Help them out a little bit, man.
Kyle Walker for the last 12 months been the best right back in the world. So,
mate, not just for mate.
No, but for, I mean, even
12 months.
Gone up. No, he's gone up. He's gone up last. I mean, he's dealt with every player there is to deal with.
He's been the best for a decade. He's the best. Is he the best ever right back ever
in the Premier?
Absolutely, no question. So that's the easy one.
Walker starts. I'd have Trent on the bench.
You having Trent over Reece James? I know Reece James got his fitness issues and
stuff.
But
I think I would at the moment.
Okay.
But I do love Reece as well. He's he's got a bit of both, hasn't he?
It's a big shout, that. Big shout.
I just think for me, I want end product. If I'm not playing, if I've got Kyle Walker on the bench, I want the opposite. Sorry, if I've got Kyle Walker starting, I want the opposite on the bench.
You want the X factor because he's good on the ball, can assist, kind of come off and completely change things. But Reece James got a bit of everything, man.
He has, but he probably get injured while he's on the bench, so and then I can't bring him on.
It's the injury X.
That's a bit hypothetical.
What are you saying? He's saying your boy's a bit of a sick note, and that's
he's a super talent.
He's amazing.
Do you know what we're talking about?
I think Reece James.
If any of those three were in your team, you're happy.
Yeah, I think the one I would have to drop, and I'm doing it in a weird order, but the one I'd have to drop would be Trent, only because I really rate Trent. I love Trent. I think he's brilliant. But I do think that we've got so much creativity that I would want a player that can really, really defend. The hard thing I'm going to have to go with, I'm sorry to Trippier, is do I start Reece James, who every part of me wants to start because he is my Chelsea captain, or am I going to start Kyle Walker? And I think in the cold light of day, I'm probably at the minute going to have to start Kyle Walker, bench Reece James, drop Trent, and I would loan Trippier to Scotland.
Do the last one.
And the last one, really, really quickly, Aaron Ramsdale, Jordan Pickford, Nick Pope.
As it is. Ramsdale for me.
Correct.
Pickford and Pope.
Ramsdale should be number one, shouldn't he?
I'd go the exact same.
Should he be number one?
Well, the only thing is, Pickford's done nothing wrong for England, to be fair to him. And he was Aaron Maguire.
He was Aaron Maguire, though. He ain't done nothing wrong.
Debatable.
Yeah, but Pickford's still playing every week.
Exactly. I agree with that. Guys, it was tough. The heat was on. You know what I mean? People were backed into a corner, had to come out fighting. But but let us know.
And he wants Foden at Man United.
Yeah, I'll do
that.
Not for England, no.
Not for England, no. I'm having Rashford all day. I want Foden one side, Saka the other, Rashford the other. Let us know. Get involved in the chat, especially in that start bench drop section. That was really difficult, and that's what the 10 con is all about. Take care, guys. We'll see you on the next episode very, very soon. Peace.